Today a list of foods, 75 of them that have absolutely zero carbs within them that you should all be eating on a keto diet or a low carb diet. Then also another list of foods which have between 1 and 5 gram net carbs, which should also be on your list. But a word of warning, there is some real dangers lurking in some of those foods, so keep watching to find out more. Okay. Hi everybody, by the way. Right. If you're thinking about a keto diet, or you're on a keto diet or low carb diet, then the first thing I would say is be careful where you get your information from. Now, to make sure that you're doing the keto way the right way, it really does need to be checked out. Now, I'm not a doctor. I've been in alternative health, specialising in hypnotherapy, which I've studied and practiced for over 20 years. Helped many people change all aspects of their life for the better, including weight loss and diet. I also research to make sure the information I give is correct, as I'm aware that, and I've seen so many times the misinformation that's given out over the internet, particularly on the carb levels within foods and what's good to eat, what isn't, what will be okay, what might be okay. So I would urge you all to do your own sort of checking out, but I've also put below my research links, so if you want to read those just to confirm. But I do a lot of work behind the scenes, so to speak. So I would say let's get on, have a look at some things. Now, if you want more information on a keto diet and the state of ketosis, which is important to get into to get the full effects of the keto diet, then have a look at some of my other videos, and especially the one, Keto, the 5 biggest mistakes made, one you won't expect. I think it's quite a good insight for people that have not done keto before, or even if you have done it. Okay, let's get on and start with first ones, meat. Okay, the first ones on the list then, we're looking at meats. As I said, big part of keto diet and low carb diet: beef, chicken, pork, turkey, lamb, bison. If you have bison around your parts of the world, we certainly don't have many bison wandering around in Yorkshire. Duck, we have a few ducks about, and rabbits and deer. No kangaroos either. No, not round here. Okay, I mean they're all great. What I would say is, if it's fresh meat or meat with no additives, brilliant. You've got to be careful though, any of these that have packaged up with added things or sauces or flavourings, a lot can contain sugar, so you've really got to watch out for them. But you know, any of those meats are absolutely great, and you should be including them in your keto diet. And if I ever see a bison, or you call them, what do you call them, buffaloes around where you are? I don't know. If I ever see one, I'll try and eat one. Okay. Now, although these are under meats, I think they are meat. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, chicken eggs. It's the staple, isn't it, of the diet. I think, you know, they're so versatile. They can be used for so many things within keto and some of the recipes. Then you've got the ones that cost a bit more, duck eggs. But if you've got a load of ducks and you've got your own supply, brilliant. Fish eggs or roe, yeah, great for making up accompaniments to meals with the fish eggs. But the other, bone broth, obviously made from the bones of all these various things, meats that are on there. Not one of my favourites, but I know it is good on a keto, a low carb diet, and everybody's different. This is the thing. I love chicken. I eat chicken all the time, but a lot prefer other meats. So as I say, that's the meats then. eat them at will. Okay, next we have the seafoods. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, tuna, shrimp, crab, lobster, cod, trout, bass, wherever you are in the world. Anchovies, herring. I think, again, these are great. You cannot beat a tuna steak, fried in a pan, butter, garlic, fantastic. Then put on a bed of cabbage, but again, everybody likes different things. My wife likes salmon, prefers salmon, but they're all great. The only thing to look out for, again, is if you get any of these where they add flavourings. And I think this is a message for anything that you get for keto. If you're following keto diet, to actually buy all your products, all your produce without anything added, any sauces. Make your own. They're so easy to make. So there you go. Seafoods, you should be filling up on seafoods. They're good for you. Okay, next on the list, cheese. Cheese again is there's so many options with the cheese. Look at these American cheese. Not as good as British cheese, but I'm slightly biased. Blue cheese, Parmesan, feta, cheddar, proper cheddar from England. Cream cheese, goat's cheese, Monterey Jack, that's an American one, isn't it? Mozzarella, Swiss cheese, provolone, brie, halloumi. The last three, the posh ones, never eat them. I've heard of them, and they're quite posh, and it doesn't really suit. So, no, one thing I would say about cheeses are great. You got to be a little bit careful on some of the cream cheeses. They can be quite high in sugar additives. The other thing I would say is whatever you do, and this goes for any food, never buy a low-fat alternative, because what they tend to do to make things low-fat is just fill it full of sugar to give it that taste. And I think another thing I would say for all foods, have a quick check on the labels before you buy it, because sometimes they hide little things in there. Because occasionally food manufacturers are not totally truthful with us. Did you know that? Yeah. So there you go, cheeses. Okay, the next on the list, the fats and oils. And these are the ones that you will have, the majority of your diet will be made up of this. But a word of warning, this is when you've reached ketosis. Because if you have too many in the initial stages, when your body hasn't switched over fully to burning fats instead of the carbs within your body, the glycogen that's stored in there, these can be counterproductive. So just be a little bit careful on the early stages. Once you're into ketosis fully, hit these like nothing before. Butter especially. Butter adds so much flavour to anything. It's fantastic. Frying with garlic, because garlic's fantastic anyway, it's so good for you. So we've got butter, ghee, beef tallow, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, MCT oil, which should be used all the time when you're in ketosis, flaxseed oil, cod liver oil, palm oil if it's responsibly sourced. Check that. That's the reason you check the label. Duck fat, chicken fat, bacon grease. When you've cooked your bacon and there's all that lovely fat left in the pan, don't throw it away. Keep it. Add that for flavouring with so many other foods. Another quick word on avocado oil. Now, the actual avocado itself is a big part of the keto diet. It's absolutely such a good food. It can be used in all sorts of recipes, from chocolate sauces to fudges to all sorts of things. So, although it has got carbs, it's the good carbs that are within the avocado itself, and it should be used, but it's not a zero carb. But the oil is. It's a great oil to use. Okay, so there you go, fats and oils. Oh, by the way, don't get the ones that are processed. Always look for the cold pressed or extra virgin olive oil, things like this. Don't get the ones that the manufacturers have had their hands on to make not good. There's a way of doing this with foods. Okay, fats and oils. Okay, next on the list we've got vegetables, and this is one of the big advantages with the keto diet. You have lots of the green vegetables which you should be putting into that diet because they really are so good for you health wise. Right, on the list here we've got bok choy, arugula, iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, butter lettuce, pickles, kale, Swiss chard and celery. Lots of these, they're so good. I must admit I don't eat a lot of them. I do eat the iceberg lettuce, great. Kale is so good, as well as tasty. But the health benefits from this is brilliant. So really you should be including a lot of these within your diet. There are some others that aren't on that list that you might think, what about the cabbage, broccoli and all these? Well, hang about until the next bit. Okay, we're moving on now to the low, the 1 to 5 grams, gram maximum carbs. Okay, asparagus are great, such a flavour on them. Again, bit of garlic on them. The only thing with asparagus, when you go to the toilet, they really do stink. The wee from them is, well, awful. Anyway, moving on. Broccoli and cabbage, this should be just about every meal. I have every meal. I love them anyway, but I know we're all different. So the other one is cauliflower. Cauliflower, so versatile. You can make mash with it. You can make pizzas with it. You can do all sorts with it. There's lots of recipes, and on recipes at the end, I've got this. I've got a really good link for some free recipe book for keto and a keto plan if you want to have a look at. Or if you don't, then it doesn't matter. You can look. There's lots of information out there to stick to your keto. So there you go. Cauliflower. Cauliflower is absolutely fantastic. Cucumber. Can't eat cucumber myself. I get terrible acid with it. I don't know if anyone else finds that. Now, they tell me that if you cut the skin off, you don't get it. And it's true, I've tried it. But the thing is, I don't like cucumber anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if anybody who suffers with a bit of acid, cut the skin off the cucumber and it'll be fine. And it's low carb as well. Eggplant, or if you speak proper English like me, aubergine. Yeah, they're great. You can do chips with aubergines or eggplants. I did some roast potatoes with them last night. They go a little bit soggy. You've got to be careful how you cook them, but they're really good. Can be used in lots of meals. Do your moussaka, fantastic. Green bell peppers. Green bell. You can use the red peppers, but anything usually once it starts getting a different colour from other than green, you've got to check carefully. So I would say green bell pepper. Mushrooms. Oh, mushrooms really do. They make it so many different dishes and they fill a plate up. And they're really, what they tend to do is mushrooms, when you cook them in fats, they do absorb the fat. So it really does help with the fat intake on mushrooms. Zucchini, or again in proper English, courgettes. You can do them with a few tomatoes. Bit of onion, not too much onion because of the carbs and that, but bit of garlic. You've got to have the garlic in. Garlic is fantastic. Olives are so good. If you're buying olives though, don't buy them in the brine. Buy them in olive oil. They taste so much better and so much nicer. They don't lose their flavour. You can add them to lots of things. Put them on top of your keto pizza. Put them into lots of different foods. They're so good. Coconut flakes. Not a great lover of this myself, but I know if you're trying to make a breakfast cereal or add them to salads and things like this, and you can use them in so many ways, but it's not my most favourite of things, I must admit. Coconut flakes, but they're okay, they're good. They're low carb. Macadamias. These are my go-to through the day little snack. I always carry a few about. I've half a dozen, 5 of them if I'm not too hungry. Half a dozen. I like loads of salt on them. I know, loads of salt. But they're great. They're really filling and they satisfy. In reality though, when you're on a keto diet, you don't feel hungry most of the time, because once you're in ketosis you just seem to be satisfied with your food because of the fats. But occasionally you do think, wow, I could just eat something. Don't go and break it and go and grab for the chocolate bar or anything like this. Grab a few of your macadamia nuts, pop them in. Great. It's a good one until you get to your next meal, until you have your next meal, should I say. And pumpkin seeds, again, nice little nibbles, just like the some of the other the walnuts and almonds. They're all good little nibbles, not too much if you don't go over the top. So there you go. There you go then with the first lot of the 1 to 5 kilogram. I keep saying kilogram. Don't eat them in kilograms. They're not kilograms. I'll be getting done for misinformation here. Yeah, okay. Grams. On to the next. Okay, so here we are on the next 1 to 5 grams. 1 to 5 grams. Almonds, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, hemp seeds, walnuts, sesame seeds, pecans, peanuts, chia seeds, peanut butter, almond butter, macadamia butter, flaxseed. Now, some red flags here. If you look at peanuts, first of all, if you just get natural raw peanuts, you know, in the little shell things, they're great. Okay. If you're buying peanuts that have been packaged and manufactured, you got to be careful. They have lots of crap added to them. They're not really that good. If you want salted nuts, get your own peanuts and add sea salt to them. Much healthy, much better for you. The other is when you come and look at the butters, peanut butter. Peanut butter is so good and it's so filling and satisfying, but a lot of the shop bought ones are absolutely full of rubbish. Some of the organic and natural ones, check the labels like you should be doing anyway, but check the labels on them for that sugar content and any hidden sugars, which they tend to do, hide them. Better still, make your own. If you have a spare 4 hours, you can always make your own peanut butter. I tried it once. What an absolute nightmare. You know, if you have loads of time on your hand, yeah, you can make your own peanut butter. So that's the thing with all the butters. So, you know, just buy them or just don't have them. But the aloe and they do satisfy and fill you. Okay, so there you go. The 1 to 5 kilogram. That's the end of them. Nearly. Now I've got to move on to something that there's a lot of warnings on. So on to the next. Okay, so these are the real mixture. But sauces in themselves, they do add flavour and they're nice to have on our food. But I'll go through the list and we'll go back and I'll mention some of the points about them. Mayonnaise, sour cream, ketchup, mustard, aioli, vinegar, tartar sauce, butter sauce, soy sauce and barbecue sauce. Right, mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. I have quite a lot of it, and I've found a sort of supermarket brand that's pretty good. It's not perfect for keto, but it's better than most. You've got to be really careful with mayo. Again, do not look at low-fat mayonnaise. That's not the point, because it will be just full of sugar. Some of them can have high sugar, but mayonnaise over salad cream any day. Salad cream is just sugar. Don't go near it. Or make your own. Mayonnaise isn't actually that difficult to make. Sour cream, again, if you get the natural ones or make your own, much better. Ketchup, definitely make your own. I haven't seen any out there that are suitable. Doesn't matter how they're labelled up. Some of them are just actually so full of crap, they're just not worth bothering with. If anybody knows any different, put some in the comments of a decent ketchup, because I'd love to find one. Mustard, again, probably make your own on that. You can get some powder and make it all up, because they do tend to have this habit of filling it with sugar. Sugar is this thing that they use all the time. Aioli is like the hummus stuff. I don't really use it, I must admit. It's garlic, very garlic. Even though I love garlic, there's a limit. But again, probably make your own. Vinegar, great. All the white vinegars, the cider vinegars. Most of them are okay. Just have to be a little bit careful sometimes if they have some of these flavourings added to them, which tend to be sugar based. Tartar sauce, again, I've not really found a totally suitable one. I've found ones that are sort of reasonably okay if you have a little bit. Sometimes one of the problems with sauces is you can overdo it. You put a little bit on, you think, oh, well, that's quite nice, and then you end up putting too much on. So tartar sauce, maybe make your own, because it's quite easy to do, especially if you've made your mayonnaise, because that's the base of it. Your mayonnaise, and then add your bits to it. Butter sauce, butter, anything that has butter is fine by me. Butter sauce, lovely. Soya sauce, again, careful on that. Look at the labels, a lot's made. Barbecue sauce is, I think, is a complete no-go for keto and low carb, because they add all this sugar. It's the whole base of most barbecue sauces is a sugar, honey additive. I'm sure there must be some alternatives out there. Again, if anybody knows of any, put something in the comments on the bottom, but I've never come across anything. You can make a kind of barbecue sauce with your own tomatoes and things like this. So there you go. There's a lot of foods. There's so many foods you can have, and there's even more than this, because then you can get all these foods and make all your recipes. Lots of different recipes with all these ingredients. There's more than enough for anybody. The reality is, most of us eat what we like, and it tends to be the same food most of the times, so it's not that difficult. And with keto, once you actually get into it and understand, you don't need to spend hours and hours measuring everything and all this kind of nonsense, because sometimes I think it's made out to be so complicated, the keto diet and low carb diet, that it really puts people off, and it shouldn't, because once you get into it, it's no different to any other way of eating in terms of how you have to think about it. The biggest benefit is all the health benefits and the losing of the fat, rather than stuffing yourself with carbohydrates, which will just bloat you and inflame all your body and do all sorts of horrible things to you. So if you want to have a look at some recipes, free recipe book, which is a really good book, lots of different recipes in there using some of these ingredients and a lot more. So in the meantime, I will wish you all good health. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, that's great. Have a look at some more. If you haven't, then I'm sorry for wasting a bit of your time, but not to worry, get on to the next one. And I wish you all good health. Take care, and see you again in the next video. Bye bye now.